Hello everyone, Cameron here, and I'm here to review The Lone Ranger, starring Johnny Depp, Armie Hammer, and directed by Gore Verbinski, who directed Pirates of the Caribbean. Going into The Lone Ranger, I was extremely skeptical. I had so low, like down into a ditch, low expectations for this movie, because it has a 23% on Rotten Tomatoes. I've heard awful things. Some say it's the worst movie of the year. I wanted to rip this movie to shreds. I'm just going to be honest. I wanted to go to this movie and see how much of a disaster it was. But I have to say, I don't think it was a complete disaster. It's not a good film, but it's not a bad or terrible film. It has so many problems. This movie is chock full of flaws, but I have mixed thoughts on the film. I'm going to get into that. We have Johnny Depp playing the Indian Tonto, and a lot of people have criticized Johnny Depp's performance, saying, oh, he's just playing Jack Sparrow. You know what? You're wrong. I disagree. I think Johnny Depp was really good in this movie, and I don't think he was like Jack Sparrow that much. It solidified the fact that Johnny Depp is still a great actor. Armie Hammer, who plays the Lone Ranger, I think he did the best Lone Ranger that was written, like the one that he did the Lone Ranger that the screenwriters wanted, but I just did not like the Lone Ranger. He was goofy, he was a wimp, he was like scared of everything, and like it just didn't make any sense. He was like a coward, he was weak. I don't want that in the Lone Ranger, and he's supposed to be courageous, and like he's the freaking Lone Ranger, and he's like a wimp, and he's like, oh, I'm silly, I'm the Lone Ranger. So I think Gore Verbinski does honestly a fantastic job directing this movie. The action scenes are exciting, they're extremely well choreographed, they're inventive, and they're just a lot of fun to watch. Also, he does a ton of really cool camera tricks, lots of zoom-ins, lots of wide pans. The cinematography in this movie is unbelievable. There are shots of the desert that are just beautiful to look at. It's gorgeous. This movie is a complete feast for the eyes. All right, let's get into why I thought this was a very mixed bag. The first 30-45 minutes, honestly, I thought were like really genuinely good, like pretty excellent. Honestly, it was fun, it was exciting. They were hitting some good emotional beats, and I was extremely entertained, and I was like, am I crazy? Do I have a horrible taste in movies? Because I actually really enjoyed this. But then it happened, the moment where I was like, oh yeah, this isn't that good. I think this happens at the start of the second act, where Tonto and Lone Ranger start working together and start doing stuff. This movie just fell apart. It was slow, boring. The character of Tonto is like mean. It's not Johnny Depp's performance. Johnny Depp and Armie Hammer, I think this was the fault of the writers, though. They have zero chemistry. They do not click. There are so many problems with the writing in this movie. Why are the characters working together? They like hate each other, they can't stand each other, and Lone Ranger's motivate for like starting to fight against crime are so muddled. There's a subplot in this movie. Okay, so these are from the writers who did Pirates of the Caribbean, and if you've seen the Pirates of the Caribbean movies, I personally like them, but they have so many unnecessary subplots and characters that go nowhere. And in this movie, we got it again! What the subplot is about? The Transcontinental Railroad. We're not in freaking history class. Do you think I want to hear about the Transcontinental Railroad? No. And there are characters that are just talking about it. I'm like, oh, I am so interested in this concept. This movie is 2.5 hours long, and honestly, like an entire hour of this movie could be cut. It's just really unnecessary. Very frustrating experience, because the first 30-45 minutes are excellent. Then there's like a chunk of time where it's like, there are moments of greatness. There's a scene, Tonto's backstory is beautiful. It is heartbreaking, and it really got to me. There is this action sequence that happens in like a mine that is riveting. It is super exciting. The rest of it is just so boring and uninteresting that those moments of really true greatness cannot save this train wreck. See what I did there? I said train because the Transcontinental Railroad. I'm going to give The Lone Ranger a C. I don't think it's a horrible movie. It is a movie that I don't recommend seeing, and it's a movie that could have been a lot better than it was. It's overall just a very bland and stale experience. That's it for this review. Email me, comment below, tell me what you think of The Lone Ranger if you've seen it, and I will be back soon with a review of World War Z. I'll see you next time.